Hello, sixth graders. Welcome to Big Ideas Math, Contract Math, Section 2.3, 2012 edition, Multiplying and Dividing Rational Numbers lesson. Pause while you write Section 2.3, 2012 edition, lesson in your math notebook. Pause again while you write today's lesson objective in your math notebook. Today's objective is to multiply and divide rational numbers. During today's lesson, we'll be working on pages 64 and 65 in your 2012 math textbook. At the top of page 64, we have the key idea, which reminds us that when we're multiplying and dividing rational numbers, when we multiply and divide, we use the same rules for signs as we used for integers. So take a moment, pause the presentation, and copy this into your notes. Be sure you copy the words and the numbers, so the example, into your notes. And remember, off to the side here it says, remember that the reciprocal of AB is BA. So last year you learned that to multiply fractions, you take the reciprocal of the right-hand fraction, so that means you just turn that right-hand fraction upside down. Now that you've had a moment to copy everything, we're going to look at example 1, dividing rational numbers. So we are asked to find -5 1/5 divided by 2 1/3. So the first step is to estimate, of course. -5 divided by 2 is -2 1/2. And then we go ahead and we start dividing. And our first step there is to write mixed numbers as improper fractions. So we take 5 times 5, which is 25, plus our 1 on the top is 26. So that gives us -26/5. And then on the right-hand side, we take 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 gives us 7/3. And then we multiply by the reciprocal of 7/3. So the reciprocal of 7/3 is 3/7. So that gives us -26 times 3 over 5 times 7. And so we just get to multiply the numerators and the denominators. So we're down here on the fourth step. And when we do that, we get -78 over 35. And we simplify that, and it becomes -2 8/35. So the quotient is -2 8/35. And we have to ask ourselves, is that reasonable? And it is close to -2 1/2. So the answer is yes, it is. Example 2 says we are going to multiply rational numbers. So we're going to find -2 1/2 times 3 6/10. So we just stack our decimals, and the decimals have different signs. So remember that since they have different signs, our product is going to be negative. And we just multiply as if the decimal is not there. And when we get down there, we get 900, and then we count in 2 decimal point places because we have 1 in the top and 1 in the bottom. And so we count 2 from the right, 1, 2, and that gives us 9. And it's a negative because we have 2 different signs in the problem. So our product is -9. Moving on to example 3, which number, when multiplied by -5/3, gives a product between 5 and 6? The book asks us to use the guess, check, and revise method. So guessing on its own is never a good method, but you may use guessing as long as you check and revise your answer. So guess number 1 says because the product is positive and the known factor is negative, choose a number that is negative, because we know that a positive times a negative is going to give us a negative number. So we would try choice C. So negative 1/4 times negative 5/3 equals negative 1 times negative 5 on the top, and 4 times 3 for the denominator, which is 5/12. That is not between 5 and 6. So it says the result of choice C is not between 5 and 6. So choose another number that is negative. Try choice B. Negative 3 1/4 times negative 5/3 equals negative 13/4, so that's just an equivalent fraction here, times negative 5/3 equals negative 13 times negative 5 over 4 times 3, so that would be a positive 65 over 12 equals 5 5/12. That would be between 5 and 6. So 5 5/12 is between 5 and 6, so the correct answer is B. So we would color that one in. And example 4, I'm going to skip the on your owns for the moment. Example 4 says, real life application, an investor owns stocks A, B, and C, over to the right on the table. What is the mean change in value of the stocks? So remember that when you find the mean, you add everything up and you divide by the number of add-ins, so the number of things that you added. So it has us adding up the changes, because we're looking at the mean change, and so we add up negative 180.39 plus 127.28 plus a negative 280.52. And then we're dividing all of that by 3. So the total on the top after we added everything up was negative 333.63, and we divide that by 3 and we come up with a total of negative 111.21. So the mean change in value of stocks is negative $111.21. Your assignment today is to complete the On Your Own problems 1 through 7 on page 65 of your 2012 textbook. Be sure to show your work and be ready to share during our next class. Remember, to earn credit for viewing this flipped lesson, you need to complete your exit slip, come to our next class prepared with the journal pages or other work from the flipped lesson completed, be prepared with any work that was assigned in the flipped lesson completed, and be prepared with any questions you have for your teacher, and of course have a good attitude.